Back here at the Bout Vaults, and we're going to hit you with another video blog right back at you with UFC Fight Night 69. This is the event in Berlin this coming June 20th here on Saturday. We reviewed the main card fights in a video blog yesterday. We've got the undercard here. It's unusual for UFC to not present the whole card all at once. They split it up, put the main card fights up a couple of days ago, and in the last 24 hours the undercard fights came up. I think it's because there's a lot of European talent on the card, and maybe the bookies want to take an extra look at what was going on here. On the undercard, the lines are pretty close in general. Sometimes, like last weekend, you had Henry Cejudo on the undercard, and he was a -1,000 favorite. No big lines like that on this undercard. So let's get right into it. The 3 featherweight fights. The undercard, by the way, will air on UFC TV, UFC.tv, the website, so check it out there. The main card is on Fox Sports 1, so you can check that out, check your local listings. Right back, featherweights. Main card fight, or the main fight of the undercard, rather, is at featherweight with Masio Fulin at +175 facing Makwan Amirkhani, who's at -245. Over-unders at 2.5, with the over at -110 and the under at -130. Sticking with the featherweights, you also got Arnold Allen at +160 facing Alan Omer, who's favored at -210. The over-under on that one's 2.5, with the over at -175 and the under at +135. The third featherweight fight is Noad Lahat at +175 facing Nicholas Backstrom, who's favored at -245. The over-under on that one's at 1.5, with the over at -150 and the under at +110. In the lightweights, you got Alan Patrick at +125 facing Marbek Tayusmov at -165. Over-unders at 2.5, with the over at -180 and the under at +140. Sticking with the lightweights, we've got Magomed Mustafaev at -105 facing Piotr Holman, -135. Over-under there is 2.5, with the over at -165 and the under at +125. Middleweight, you got Antonio Dos Santos coming in as the underdog at +175 as he faces Scott Ashcombe at -245. The over-under is 2.5, with the over paying -125 and the under at -115. And the opening fight of the card at bantamweight sees Taylor Lapilus, underdog at +205 facing Ulka Sasaki, -285 for Sasaki. Over-unders 1.5, with the over at -155 and the under at +115. If you know the European talent, there may be some value in some of these. I got to be honest, we'll be looking at some of these guys for the first time this show, and I find it interesting with the expansion of the sport. You got to get to know the regional fighters because they start coming up. So some of these fighters have been fighting in events in Russia and events in Europe and stuff, and it's well worth looking into. Anyway, we will see you after these fights.